of us three editors of the 50 Essentials of Science Communication Handbook. I welcome all of you to our presentation. I would like to also warmly thank, of course, our hosts for inviting us today, allowing us to present this book, and also maybe a couple of other things that we are currently doing in Luxembourg. I am Serge Haan. I'm professor for biological chemistry here at the University of Luxembourg, and I'm also head of the Department of Life Science and Medicine. I have a vivid interest actually for science communication as well, and so I'm heading a couple of projects, one called DESCOM, Doctoral Education Science Communication, and the other one is Luxplorations, which is a project on science comics.
Yes, and my name is Jean-Paul Bertemes. I have a background in chemistry and German literature. Then worked as a science journalist, among others, for RTL Radio, Luxembourg Wort, Geo, Spiegel, Zeit. Before joining then the FNR in 2011 as a science communicator, mainly to build up a webpage, Science.lu, where I'm the chief editor. And since 2017, I'm the head of Science and Society, so I'm responsible for all the science communication activities of the Luxembourg National Research Fund.
Yeah, my name is Dirk Hans, located in Hanover, spending a lot of time in Luxembourg. I'm originally a marine biologist. After I finished that, I studied science journalism in Berlin, and then I started working with WDR, Quarks and Co. TV program. I did that for more than 5 years. And after that, I was head of communication at a university in Luxembourg, in Germany, and a research center, Leibniz Research Center in Germany. And I'm teaching science communication since 10 years, and also in Luxembourg since I think now 7 years. And I'd like to maybe, Serge, you can flip the slide so we can also introduce a couple more people, because this project that we are going to present, the book 50 Essentials on Science Communication, isn't just work of the three of us, but also some more people we'd just like to highlight here. It's Nicole Paschek, Oliver Glassel, and Céline Le Carpentier. And that's mainly the team, the core team of producing this book, beside all the authors that also took part of it, but we don't have a picture of them now here, and that would be too much for the beginning. So thank you very much for having us. And I'd hand over to whom? Jean?
To me. Yes, I want to briefly explain what the book is all about. So the name of the book is 50 Essentials on Science Communication. It's mainly aimed at young researchers who want to make first steps in science communication, but in fact, a bit more general for everybody interested in the field of science communication. So we give a short overview on 50 topics in small chapters, easily to read. Dirk will explain a bit more in detail afterwards. We have 32 authors, so 20 from Luxembourg and 12 international experts who wrote the book, and 3 co-editors, so are Dirk, Serge, and I. Very important, this book is open access. It was very important to us that everybody can download it for free. You have the QR code there if you want to download it, but for sure you can also pay for it and get a normal copy. Here's the book, so you see a bit how big it is. You can buy it on Amazon and on the main platforms. It was published by the Gruyter. I see Alessandro has one, very good. So it was published by the Gruyter, and we will dive a bit more into that afterwards by Dirk, but now Serge will give you some information about the context.
Exactly, because in order to provide you the context and the idea for the book, I would like to show you just a little bit how it came to be and where it actually originated from. And it originated out from an idea which is the DESCOM project, and which is a project that we have on doctoral education science communication. The aim of this project is to train the next generation of researchers in public engagement via formal science communication trainings. And you see here that we have formal courses which we combine with internships, where researchers can go into communication departments and other partner institutions to get hands-on experience. We also provide the support in form of a pocket guide and now this handbook that we have generated. So we wanted to build our own support for this as well and also adapt it to the course, of course. And finally, we have a number of outreach activities, which we also perform in DESCOM, and where we always try to integrate a training aspect. So the key aspects of the projects are that the trainings are available to all doctoral candidates in Luxembourg. It was developed in our faculty, but we of course make it available to everybody who is a doctoral candidate in Luxembourg. And the training aspect is really central to all of our activities. We were able within the Luxembourg community to really build a strong network of partners, which also give input into the project. And I shortly need to, of course, acknowledge the sponsors. The FNR has been the initial sponsor for that project when it was started in the context of the flagship program that they have. The André Losch Foundation recently supported us. And from the start, the Faculty of Science, Technology and Medicine of the University of Luxembourg has taken over a lot of funding as well as two doctoral schools which support the project and so that we can sustainably run it. Just a few words about what we do. So the SciComm course is really giving you the general concepts of SciComm, and this is also reflected in the book, by the way. We provide essential knowledge on communication tools and organizational structures, and it's about a 30-hour face-to-face course, and there's also a project in this course. Then the internships are really to get hands-on experience in a department that deals with communication. So there we have our network of partners that support us and take our candidates. And then finally, as third, we have the support structure. We're going to talk about the book in a minute a little bit more. Another project which has also a very strong training activity and which belongs to our support for outreach activities are the science comics that we generate. So that's why I would like to take that as an example to show you what we do to support other outreach activities. So it's a book, it's science comics. We now have published 4 volumes in 5 languages, and the distribution is over 40,000 books that we distributed until now. And we accompany that by exhibitions, hands-on workshops, etc. So also this is an activity where doctoral candidates actually generate the ideas. They get training, they generate ideas, and then together with comic artists, they implement the ideas. And I think that's a very, very good communication exercise because it has many layers actually. Beyond doctoral education, what we would like to do and what we have started to do is to develop now the first courses for postdocs. And we would also like to further introduce the trainings at the bachelor and at master level. And we have just started to do that so that we can really follow the students throughout their careers in science communication. And that for us is really empowering the next generation from the start of their studies to get the knowledge necessary to efficiently perform in public engagement. Dirk will now take over for a little bit deeper insight into the book.
Very good, thanks, Serge. The journey to create this opus magnum began many years before 2024 when it was published. The University of Luxembourg, namely Serge, asked me as the new lecturer who was allowed and expected to add the subject of science communication to the list of courses on offer to write a short handout, a pamphlet on the main content of my course. And Serge had carelessly mentioned this as a deliverable in an application for funding for the DESCOM project. And in order not to jeopardize the funding from the FNR represented here by Jean-Paul Bertemes, someone had to write this, and I was called to do this. So the one to write this so-called pocket guide was me. And years later, and we sometimes discuss how it was exactly, but years later, at a meeting of the steering committee, the idea arose to expand this pocket guide, make it more professional, and create a nice little book that could be distributed, for example, to all new doctoral students at the University of Luxembourg, to send a signal in favor of science communication. As I knew, this charming little book, Kleine Gase, große Wirkung der Klimawandel. I don't know if you know this. I just hold it in the camera here, if you can see it. It's a square little format, not too thick, very much like what we did. So Kleine Gase, große Wirkung. If you want to check it out, do it. It's very nice. It's created by David Nellis, Christian Serra, Lisa Schwegeler, and Stefan Kreis. And it was published in 2018. So I came up with this idea to use a similar approach and layout to do our little book. The book should provide basic information and easy access to people who are new in the field of science communication, such as the students that I teach. So the concept was quickly agreed upon and marking the start point for the book's production. And the editorial team present here today was quickly assembled, and it was clear that the task would be too big for just one person, and that the project would also take on a certain political dimension in small Luxembourg. And it was clear that the two big sponsors of this project, the University of Luxembourg and the Fonds National de la Recherche, would ideally underline their financial commitment by also actively participating in the editorial team, which was a real stroke of luck for the book. So here we are, the three of us. But let's not forget the initial and essential first step. Of course, we wanted to ensure that we were not just copying a best practice that was already on the market. So first of all, we conducted a market analysis of existing books, and mainly Oliver Glassel did this. And we found out that there was a lack of introductory books that were easy to access, compact, and ideally also nicely designed. And we were focusing on the group of young scientists very much who are in an early stage of their careers. And these people should ideally have a fundamental understanding of the basic concepts and the potential role of science communication in their future professional journeys. And I don't know if you know good examples of books that are doing this job like very well, like a nice introductory book. Kind of a lot of times these books are very kind of a collection of very specific topics and already on a very, let's say, high reflective scientific level sometimes. And but maybe we can discuss later a little bit if you have other examples of good books from that field, and we were keen to learn more about our competitors in the field. So we thought of young researchers having specific questions in mind. For example, as a small research group at a university, should we have our own promotional video on our website explaining what we do? Would it be worth the effort? Can we produce it internally using our own resources? Or do we need to coordinate this with the central communication department? Or should I, as a young postdoc researcher, really take part at a science fair and present my research to school kids? Is it a good decision to allocate a decent amount of time in this activity and not working on my scientific output instead? Well, these, from our perspective, are really relevant questions, and asking the right questions before taking action is key to effective and efficient communication. So, and however, to formulate these right questions, you already need a good understanding of the subject area. And this is exactly what our book aims to provide. So it's neither a do-it-yourself guide, nor just a motivational booster, nor it is a publication of the latest research findings in communication science. For example, it contains sentences like, but it is harder than you might think. Okay, so it's not just an invitation, go for it. And my personal and very general criticism of many publications and also of some course content offered by quite a lot of colleagues is that they usually act as if the first and perhaps most important question, namely whether I should even be involved in science communication in my current situation, always presupposes a clear yes. And I think this needs to be clarified before starting doing science communication. And it puts actually a lot of pressure on many young scientists who just want to get things right. I hear this a lot in the seminars that I'm running. So for young scientists, knowing the framework and the pros and cons of many aspects of science communication is the necessary first step to take the right decisions. And this is what the book, The 50 Essentials, can offer. It provides very concise and precise introductions to the most important aspects. And it allows you to gain an overview and finally make good decisions about what to do and what not to do. And by the way, when I teach science communication, I meet quite a few people who are considering leaving the science business to start a career in SciComm, just as I did 27 years ago. And the book might also offer those people valuable information about this possible field of work. And before I conclude my brief overview, I would like to spend a little more time discussing the design and our idea of incorporating attractive visuals alongside the text. So the book should be enjoyable. That was our approach. And therefore, we were looking for a graphic design agency with experience in data visualization and a cool, more playful style. And we found Human Made in Luxembourg was the perfect match for that. And thanks to Felicitas and Jan, we were able to enrich the book with a lot of vital, funny, and thoughtful graphics. The scientific content of a lot of graphics was, of course, provided by the authors and editors, but the designers had a tremendous influence in the final look. So we incorporated this, I would say, playful and human aspect into our product to enhance the invitation to browse through the pages. The book is indeed intended to be used this way. You don't need to read it page by page, although it starts with more general topics such as what is science communication, actually, and becomes more detailed as you progress through the chapters. Just one example, it also provides information on communicating the use of animals in research. Okay, so very specific then. However, it is also expected that readers will jump from topic to topic based on their own questions. And the nice design might also encourage readers to just check out some other chapters they initially were not focusing on. So the book is mainly a starting point. And if people really want to dig deeper, the book also offers what we call recommended reads. So the book also provides a nice list of selected literature from the field. Well, and with this, kind of looking forward to a nice discussion afterwards. I just would love to pass the mic to Serge. Yeah. Very good.
Because I would shortly mention that, of course, the initial hurdle for the book was the financing all of this, especially if you include graphics, if you want to have an elaborate graphics and graphic design behind it. There's actually no program in Luxembourg where we could apply for the generation of this book, and that's why we approached the FNR and just told them about our idea, made a market analysis, and after a few presentations at the FNR, everybody was convinced that this was a good project that we should go for. And I appreciate very much that we could then afterwards simply formulate a cooperation contract, and really that both institutions, the university and the FNR, actually made a collaboration out of this, and we produced this book together, and it has been a really nice adventure doing this.
Yes, so we were acting here as funders, but also actively we were contributing, and this is not so unusual for us. Just to give you some context, so the FNR, Luxembourg National Research Fund, we have the main mission to be the funders of research activities like the DFG in Germany, but we also have by law the mission to promote scientific culture. And therefore we are ourselves also active in public engagement. For example, so our main pillars are to organize public engagement events, so to foster face-to-face exchange and public dialogue. Then we also have some media and social media platforms in order to reach broad audiences virtually, digitally. And then we also offer training to support SciComm skills. And we also have a funding scheme to support SciComm projects. One of the projects we supported financially was, for example, DESCO. Serge, if you can change the... Yeah, so we want to go a bit more in detail for the events. So the events that we organize are, the biggest events are the Science Festival, together with the National Museum of Natural History, and the Researchers' Days, where the researchers really show in workshops what they are doing research on, and the public can discover and engaging interactively with the researchers what they are doing. Then we have also a project called Researchers at School, where we send researchers to schools to engage with students, high school students. And we have the pairing scheme. That's a scheme where we bring researchers and politicians, mainly from the parliament, together. And we organize the SciComm Luxembourg, so a networking event where we bring together all the science communicators in Luxembourg, because this community is growing over the years. So you see it's lots of federating events where we provide a platform, but it's the institutions, the researchers that really can show what they do. The same idea, we have lots of different media platforms, media partnerships, and also social media platforms where we do science communication. When I started the very left on top, Mr. Science, go back here. Right. Mr. Science is a public figure we created, so that's one of our collaborators. He's quite famous. He was running a TV show, a bit like Sendung mit der Maus, or C'est pas sorcier, on TV, and also on RTL Radio and Elder Radio. But then we also developed a platform called science.lu, where we publish information about science activities and research activities in Luxembourg, but also where we want to add the scientific perspective into the public debates. And there we are very active also. Instead of only publishing our articles on science.lu, we also want to formats specially dedicated to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And we collaborate with many media partners so that they also use our articles, or we write articles for them in order to add the scientific perspective into the public debate. And then we also have two TV shows. No, stay there. We also have two TV shows. So one is called Takeoff. That's a science challenge show. That's a fun show that we created 2 seasons ago, 2 years ago. And you can watch it on YouTube and also on RTL television and also on TikTok and Instagram. And the idea is that 12 youngsters compete against each other in the beginning in teams, but then afterwards alone. And they have to solve science challenges. And at the end of each episode, one will be eliminated. And the final winner will win 10,000 euros and will be the winner of the Takeoff season. That we created quite a buzz with that in Luxembourg, and I think it's a very engaging and very emotional format that brings more rational science into a more storytelling and emotional format. Then we also have this format called Zielmekeng. We have to show 2 pictures there where we that's a format perhaps more for older youngsters or adults, where we talk about critical science topics which are in the public debates, and we have a look at what do the studies say about this topic, what is known, what is not known, where is the evidence strong, where is the evidence weak. So those are our formats from middle and social media. And then, Serge, now you can move on. Then we also offer training. So we support SciComm skills mainly for researchers, but also for teachers. So we have developed, for example, a book about science education together with the Ministry of Education. Then we also deliver some training with EFAN, that's also a national platform for teacher training. And with a script, so from Ministry, we developed this book. And for the researchers, we mainly provide training on how to do science communication, how to cooperate with media, how to engage with policymakers, how to produce videos, things like this. And also, very important also, if we organize events like the pairing scheme where they mix up with politicians, then we offer training on how to engage with policymakers. If we offer a science festival, then we offer a training on how to explain your research in a hands-on interactive workshop. So we always provide some help for the platforms we offer. And then finally, we also have 2 funding schemes. PSP, they are called, Promoting Science to the Public. PSP Classic is for smaller projects up to 1 year and up to 60,000 euros. And PSP Flagship is for bigger projects of 3 years and up to 400,000 euros. So DESCOM was one of the projects that we supported with PSP Flagship. And then the next slide here. So then what we want to say. So the last 2 activities, so the training and the funding, this is about supporting the community, because we think that the SciComm community in Luxembourg we think we built up something very interesting here in Luxembourg, because you have to know that the whole research system is very young. So the FNR and the Ministry of Research were only founded like 26 years ago. The university was only created around 22, 23 years ago. So everything is very young. We needed to build up everything from scratch. And I think over the years, we build up something that can be shown at an international level. And that was one of the ideas also to do this book, to put Luxembourg on a map in international science communication. That's also to make some publicity, also a reason why we engaged, we attracted a conference, the UC, the European Science Engagement Association conference, will be happening in Luxembourg in 19th of May till 21st of May 2026. So if you want to come to Luxembourg and visit everything what we have built up, just come around. So UC is the name, European Science Engagement Association. Now, again, to talk about the SciComm landscape, we thought, so okay, we now have lots of experts here in Luxembourg. So when we write such a book, we thought that it would be a good idea to highlight also the expertise we have in Luxembourg. And so we wanted then to have some of the national experts contribute to the book. At the same time, we wanted to give it an international perspective. So we also invited some international authors to contribute to the book. So I will have to be frank with you. So at the beginning, I was a bit skeptical with the idea, even if I liked it very much, this federating aspect and showing the expertise we have and collaborating with international experts. I feared a bit that we might have some problems, that finally it's not the same style, that finally perhaps we even have so many perspectives that we have contradictions, maybe, or that the editorial task will be much harder if you have so many different styles. But finally, I'm very happy I'm glad that we did it, because I think that's finally really one of the very positive points about the book, that we have so many different perspectives on science communication. And like this, we show a bit that there is no single one truth, but there are different perspectives on the topic. It was also, we also had lots of time this discussion. Which perspective shall we, from which perspective should we look on that topic? For example, you have more the research institution perspective, you have perhaps more the perspective of an individual researcher, we have the perspective of science centers or science museums. You have also science communicators working in smaller associations. So, and by having so many different authors coming from different backgrounds, we were able to put this in perspective from different perspectives. And what is still interesting, we received one review that claimed that still our perspective was a bit more focused on the research institution perspective. I think that's also because lots of the authors have a background from research institutions. But I mean, that's the way it is. But I think finally that's one of the strengths of the book. Also, one thing we were talking quite a lot about was how much shall we integrate articles that are really hands-on, or show how you can do this if you want to engage in science communication. How can you do a podcast? How can you write an article? Or how much shall we more focus on more the meta level or strategic level on how is this embedded in a bigger context and so on. And I think there again, based on our discussions and also on the different authors we have, there is finally a good mix of the two levels. But I hand over to Serge to talk about other challenges.
I'm going to wrap up with talking about another concern that we had for the book, which was simply how rapidly will chapters be outdated. If you create a book, that's always a major question. And developments in science communication are also rapid. And I think the chapter on AI is a prime example for this. So we discussed whether we should include this such an important and upcoming topic. But on the other hand, when we were during the planning phase of the book in 21-22, we had a feeling that it was not yet time to really be able to write a good article about this. And I'm wondering when the good time will be and when the experiences will be there and where we will go with this. But that was, for example, a topic where we said, well, we don't feel that we should include it right now. And so that's why we simply went to an approach where we had ChatGPT writing a 51st chapter for it. And I think this is something that in the next in a revision of the book we would include as an solid chapter written by a person, probably. And maybe. So that's also a concern that we had. So how up to date is it? How rapidly is it updated? But on the other hand, as it's a book giving you the first contact with these topics, we nevertheless think that the value will be maintained over quite some time, because we really would like to provide the basic concepts, and we think that that's why it will also hold up a bit with before it gets outdated. And with that, I would like to thank you again. We hope that people who read the book see it as we do, as an entertaining and interesting handbook, and which we hope facilitates the first step for many researchers in their first steps, and the companies that are in their first step of science communication. That's in the end, as we already stated, why we also provided the book as open access. And with that, we would like to thank you all, and are looking forward to further discussions as well.